Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Anup Kokni and here we discuss about the Indian stock market indices and how they have been trading today and what we can expect for tomorrow. Uh, so let's get started with Nifty. As you could look in the charts, so Nifty opened with a good gap up today in the morning. It almost opened at the resistance two levels on the pivots and then took a support unsustained for almost the entire day, except for the last 30 minutes where it started losing some 50 points and then closed at 18,600-ish levels, right? So which has been again a key support. We will also look at the option chain and try to understand how the contracts have been written at each one of those levels, but not net of a movement that happened after the gap up. The initial gap up is what drove Nifty today. Otherwise, there has not been much of a momentum, though there was a good sustainment at the levels which was open today. I think it's showing me an virgin CPR, which means that tomorrow, probably there could be either a gap down or the price could open at the levels of the close of today, and then it could slide downwards and then take a support at the CPR at 18,550-ish levels and then start moving upwards, right? So, this has been one of the observations on the CPR where if you have a virgin CPR on, you know, a daily basis, then most of the time the price slides down or glides upwards to touch the CPR and then bounce back from those levels. So we'll have to wait and watch for tomorrow, but it looks like it would slide down to 18,550 before making an upwards momentum towards 18,650 and 700, right? So which was like uh, the previous high, right? So the all-time high is still at 18,800. We will have to see how it would behave based upon the opening for tomorrow. Let's look at the intraday charts and try to understand what we can expect for tomorrow. Let's get into the daily chart and see. Daily chart definitely had a gap up, right? But slowly, as you could see, the gap up was slided down for the last 30 minutes, and then it started taking in support at this level of 18,600, right? So it's at a very key level at 18,600. Either it could slide down tomorrow to 18,550 or 650 as we saw on the CPR chart on 3-minute time frame. So let's get onto the intraday time frame on hourly and 15 minutes chart and see if there is any key supports and resistances apart from the one which we spoke about now. Um, no, I think we can change the trend line probably. Uh, So we can draw a trend line to this support and see. Yeah. So the opening below this can get you to the 500 levels, which we spoke about, 550 levels up to this, which was again the CPR level that we saw on the previous chart. And if that gets broken, then the next support is at 500, right? 18,500. So if it starts coming downwards, I see with what is the volatility? Volatility is again very low. There's not much of an improvement. It's at 11.1. So which means that if it starts opening and if it starts moving downwards after opening, then probably we can see 550 and 500. But if it starts to hold back the levels that it has closed at today, then we can start seeing 650, right? 650 and maybe 700 as well. So still the all-time high is very far away. It's at 18,900, so that will take some time. Let's look on the option chain and try to understand if there are contracts that's been built at these levels. Okay, let me once refresh this. Yes. All right. So if you look at the total volumes of contracts on the call side, it's almost like 14 lakhs, and then on the put side you have 11.3 lakhs, right? So definitely calls are more in comparison to the puts. Now, if you look at the net change, there has been more of an unwinding on both the sides, right? So there has not been too much of an addition, just a positive 13K addition on the put side, and then there is a negative minus 40K on the call side. But where is that we have the max OI? We have the max OI on the call side, though there has been a little bit of unwinding that happened today, but still we see a good amount of contracts been written at 18,600 on the calls, where we have 215,000 contracts, and then at 18,700 we have 165,000 contracts. Likewise, on the put side, we have the highest OI at 18,500. We have 232,000 contracts, and then we have at 18,600 we have 185,000 contracts, right? So 18,600 sounds to be a key level to me. Now, tomorrow's opening is what will drive it either downwards towards 18,500 and 18,700, as we spoke about on the price action chart, right? So it very much looks like for Nifty, the range should be 18,500 and 18,700 for tomorrow that we can anticipate Nifty to be trading in. Okay. We'll go back to the price action charts and quickly see on the pivots for tomorrow if there is something that hints us on the moment. Okay. No, not really. I think, yeah, the price action is very, very small in range. I think even the pivot is normal. It's neither narrow nor it's wide. So I believe, yeah, this range should hold good for tomorrow between 18,500 and 18,700. So let's quickly move on to Bank Nifty. Bank Nifty also again opened with a gap up in the morning today. It retained the levels of yesterday or previous week's high as well as the resistance one, and it even very similar behavior to what you got to see in Nifty, where it had been holding and sustaining at the levels of 44,100 and 200 for quite some time, for almost the entire day, and then probably gave away some 100 points at the in at the close. So this again is because of the intraday profit booking, probably that you know those who had have bought it in the morning, they would have sold and closed down the positions probably. That could be the reason that you get to see the selling of 100 points in the last 30 minutes, right? Otherwise, there is been a good sustainment of this level at 44,200, right? 44,2 and 44,300 has been a key level. So let's quickly look on the intraday chart. Let's look on the hourly chart. Hourly chart, yeah, so the hourly chart has a very good support as a 20 EMA at 44,100 levels, right? So I think for the price to fall below this, it will take a good amount of time. So there will be a lot of time correction before it starts coming down. Now, if you look at the all-time high, it is at 44,500 is the recent high, right? So that you get to see here. Okay, let's look on the daily chart if there are any other levels. No, this is also the all-time high, right? So the all-time high from the recent highs is nothing but 44,500. So we'll have to wait and watch if this levels would be tested. Let's look on the intraday time frame if we have something as a key level for us to be watchful. Yeah. So I think we'll change this trend line. Become more of an it's more in the uptrend now. Initially we had a trend line which was resisting from the top. Now probably it looks like on the 15-minute time frame, it may take resistance at this level. Sorry, it may take the support at this level of 44,100, and that's exactly what we saw in the previous chart as well. I'll change this to green. Yeah. And then the next immediate resistance on the intraday could be at, not sure, even this would be a resistance. If it opens a gap up in the morning itself, then probably this level can be, already overridden. So this could be a key level for intraday, right? So 44,500. So Bank Nifty depends again on the opening. If it opens a gap down, then probably we'll get to see 43,800, which has been the key support for quite some time now. If it opens at the as is levels, then it can pretty much, gyrate between 100, points, which would be the CPR levels on a, 3 or a 5-minute chart. But if it opens with a gap up at 44,250 levels, then we can see another, good 200 points movement where we can retest again the all-time high of 44,500 on Bank Nifty. So there's not much of a momentum seen. I think it will still be consolidating for tomorrow probably, because if you look at RSI is pretty much at 50-ish. It's neither showing in a momentum on the upside nor on the downside. So I doubt if there would be a strong movement that would be seen. And looking at the volatility, there is not much of a price action that could be seen in a unidirectional manner, right? So I would be surprised if there would be a trending market. Otherwise, it's very much trading within the range, right? So that's on the bank nifty. Let's look on the CPR for tomorrow if there is something to give us more hints. The CPR is again with a normal width. We will check out the histogram tomorrow, the morning's open, and then see. But it has given a negative close, not negative close, sorry. The yeah, so the price has closed below the CPR for tomorrow. So I think this level can be a resistance at 44,200 for us tomorrow. And then probably it could slide down until the support level of 44,000. So probably price can be between 44,000 and 44,300, right? So 300 could be the range for Bank Nifty is what I get to see here from the charts. Let's also look at the OI and understand what the OI has us to inform in terms of the contracts that's been written on Bank Nifty. Let's refresh for Bank Nifty as well. All right, so if you look at the total number of contracts, we have 12 lakh contracts on the calls and then 9 lakhs contracts on the puts. So there is again in 3 lakh differential in terms of the total number of contracts. So there are few number of contracts in comparison to Nifty. Definitely here you have a positive. There are 33,000 contracts on the call side that's been put on the intraday, and there has been an unwinding of 42,000 contracts on the put side. All right, so 44,200 get to see the highest OI in terms of the calls. We have 144,000, 45,000 calls. And then if you look at the puts, puts are very few here. So 44,000 is a key support with over 201,000 contracts. And you also see a good concentration on the call side with 164,000, right? So though there has been a good amount of unwinding today on the call side, but still there are equivalent amount of contracts at 44,000. So 44,000 being tested tomorrow looks to be very likely to me. Looking at the way the contracts have been written and also looking at the price action on both the intraday as well as on tomorrow's pivots. Now 44,200, 44,000 could be the key levels, but 44,500 is definitely a safest level that's been written with 116,000 contracts, which had been the previous high or the all-time high for Bank Nifty. And 43,800 doesn't have too much of concentration, but still you see a good amount of put 75,000 put contracts been written at 43,900. Okay, so that's on the Bank Nifty. Now, Bank Nifty is again ranged between 43,800 and 44,200 for tomorrow is what I see. Okay, let's get on to FINNIFTY before we close. FINNIFTY again very similar to what Bank Nifty and Nifty has done, opened with a good gap up. It also tried sustaining for the whole day until it started breaking down and then give away the 50 points, 60 points and close the previous week's high and the resistance one. So this level is again very important tomorrow for us to be watchful. If it opens at 19,450 and then keeps moving upwards, it can start going up to 19,550. And even this is on Virgin CPR, right? So we got to see a Virgin CPR on all three instruments. So probably there could be an initial down pull once the pullback is completed at 19,370, as you could see at the CPR, or maybe we will have to look at tomorrow's CPR levels, maybe at 400, right? So 19,400, once it touches down to that CPR, and it may bounce back again upwards towards this 19,450 and 500 levels, right? That's how I see it on FinNifty. I traded on FinNifty today and I closed with some 0.335% gains. I didn't trade it for the full day. I closed by 12ish probably. I was not in a mood to trade for long today, so I closed in the positions early. Let me move on to the daily time frame and see how this looks like. It's a very small candle. There had been not much of a price action or a movement that happened, right? So now there is a double top that's been built at 19,630 levels, right? So 19,600. So 19,600 is going to be a key level, which is mostly an all-time high on FINNIFTY. Now you also see another resistance being coming in at 19,550, where again Today, I think 500 was very good resistance. In fact, it even didn't get to 550, right? So, FINNIFTY looks to be in a range. Now, if you look at the 20 EMA on the daily chart, it is at 19,350, right? So, this could be a very critical support. It will not break for tomorrow at least. And by the way, we have the expiry for FINNIFTY, and FINNIFTY would be the instrument which I'll be trading in for tomorrow. So 19,300 is gonna be 350 is gonna be a key level of support, and 19,500 500 sounds to be an resistance for tomorrow. I don't think so. There should be a movement of more than 150 points tomorrow into FINNIFTY as well, right? But nevertheless, let's look onto the lower time frames on the intraday and see. Oh, there is a very good support again at 425, just right. So 19,425, you have the 20 EMA, and I doubt if this level would be broken for tomorrow. Probably this level will be sustained, and then we start seeing the movement towards 19,500 and 550, right? Otherwise, downside again, we saw 350 is a very good support on the daily chart. So let's get on the 15 minutes chart and see. Mm-hmm. Not so today's high is 518, right? So this is the today's high. Yeah. So it may probably test in this levels tomorrow at 524, but I don't see anything more coming in. So if I had to put the supports from today, then probably this could be the key support levels, right? So where we saw buying coming in at least for two times. I'll put this into green so that okay, 350, right? So 19,350 is definitely going to be a key level, and this particular level can be a time correction level for us for tomorrow. So this is exactly where FINNIFTY has closed 19,450. Now, if it opens below the support level, then probably 350. If it sustains this support level, then we could see 550, right? So opening is very important, which is again at the CPR levels. We will see the CPRs for tomorrow. So if it opens at the CPR level at 19,450, then I think 100 points upside or 100 points downside is what we can expect FINNIFTY to be played, right? So it's a strangle uh, candidate for tomorrow for me. I probably would be playing in 19,550 on the call side, and then 19,4 not 4 350 on the put side, right? So I know the premiums are too low. It might be just a few bucks, but I want to just play with good volumes and then have a decent earning and close the expiry. Yep, so there is a negative bias. Probably 350 can be tested, is what I get to see from the price action. Let's look at the option chain and try to understand uh, if there are contracts matching with what we get to see on the price action as well. If you look at the total number of contracts, 9 lakhs, 31,000 and 7.5 lakhs. So there are almost 2 lakh contracts in difference. So calls are definitely heavy. But if you look at the intraday change is more or less the same. It's 351 thousands and then 327 thousands on the put sides. So 19,600 has a good amount of call writing. We have 157,000 calls. And then 19,500 has seen a good amount of call writing again, right? So with the second highest, 147,000 calls. On the puts, there are not too many puts. The puts seem to be quite lean now to me. 19,400 is where you get to see almost 98,000 put contracts. Then you get to see it at 19,200. And this level, I don't know, people are playing very safe probably here. No, I don't think so. 19,200 would be tested unless you get to see something very strongly negative. 19,300, as we saw 300, 350. 19,350 was a good support. So 300 should be a safe bet. And as we saw, it's just 5 rupees. 5 rupees 25 paise. And I think this will be melting down probably to 3.5 rupees by the time it opens tomorrow in the morning. And if you look at 19,600, even this should be 3.5 rupees. So I think probably 19,550 would be left with some 7, 8 bucks. And then 19,350 would be left with $6 to $7. So probably this two should be the strike levels for tomorrow. Otherwise, there would be nothing to play here, and I would be mere getting in, whatever the volumes I play, I may not even be making 50K tomorrow if I'll be just playing with 19,300 or 19,600, right? So it doesn't make much of a sense. So maybe 19,550 and then 19,350 should be the strikes for me to play tomorrow as a delta neutral strategy and predominantly playing on this triangle, right? Or if there is not much of a momentum and if I get to see something as a price action or price action behavior for today, then probably I'll move it to the closer strikes and play a straddle. But I'm very skeptical in terms of playing in a straddle nowadays because one spike or one downward movement in 3 5 minutes is going to take away everything that you would have made for hours together. So it doesn't make much of a sense in low volatility. So probably I'll be staying away in a far of triangles, right? So as I said, 19,350 and 19,550 would be the strikes where I'll be selling in the calls and puts, right? So to summarize, again, FINNIFTY being an expiry, I would be trading on FINNIFTY with the strikes I just mentioned at 19,350 for puts and 19,550 for calls. Bank Nifty, again, we saw not too much of a momentum. 44,000 is a very good, strong support level, but still there is a possibility with a little negative bias I get to see on the chart where it can range between 43,800 and then 44,200 predominantly. Um, yeah, that's the levels I see. It's just a 300 points. And on Nifty, as we saw, I think the key level is this 18,600. So downwards 100 points towards 18,500 and upwards another 100 points, which is 18,700. So opening is what matters. From the opening, I don't see a movement of 100 points on the either sides. Right. So that's a quick verdict or conclusion on, what it looks for tomorrow. And I definitely would be preferring to trade in FINNIFTY being an expiry and capturing in the delta and theta both, right? In terms of the instrument's expiry. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching in. Goodbye. Cheers.